there was one thing you could do to lose twice as much fat this year, would you try it? Well, you're in luck because there is, and it's something I've been using both personally and with my clients to help them get below 20% body fat and keep fat off for longer. So in this video, I'm going to show you the strategy you can use to get leaner than you've ever been and sustain it more easily and make the whole process a lot easier to get started with. But first, you need to understand how to stop falling off the wagon and losing the same weight over and over without ever really getting anywhere. The best analogy I've heard from this comes from Dr. Mike Israetel. He says that when you're losing fat, it's like cooking in a kitchen. As the chef is preparing a bunch of food, he's making all this delicious food that's going out to the patrons in the restaurant, but the dishes are getting dirty. The pan is getting eggs stuck on it. The flat top grill is getting all the blackened char marks, and all the cutlery is getting dirty too. And if he just keeps on cooking food, then eventually the chocolate cake starts to taste like onions. So eventually we need to clean up those dishes so we can continue making delicious food. And the same thing happens when you're losing fat. As you keep losing fat, you get more tired of the process, you get more hungry, and just psychologically burnt out on the whole weight loss and restriction thing. And you've probably felt this before. After a while, you feel like you just need some treats, you want some delicious food, your stomach starts growling, and literally food just starts to taste better. I've been really properly hungry before one time while I was dieting for my jiu-jitsu competition. I was in a 1,000-calorie deficit for basically 7 weeks in a row, and I ate a bowl of oatmeal at the end of it, and I swear to God, I almost cried. I just had this feeling of gratitude wash over me, and I was emotional. It was so delicious. I've never experienced such a primal sensation. That rising level of hunger and psychological burnout on the whole fat loss process is called diet fatigue. And if you don't manage that diet fatigue, you're just not gonna get as far as you want. You're gonna end up falling off the diet, and you know what? It's just way harder to deal with. So how do you manage that diet fatigue? Well, you can use something called a diet break, which is a temporary period of increasing your calories to allow your body to dissipate that diet fatigue or clean up those dishes so that you can get back to losing fat further and make the whole process a lot easier. This also means that when you get down to your goal weight, you're gonna have a lot easier time actually hanging on to it because you won't have accrued or gathered so much diet fatigue along the way, so you won't have this crazy rebound hunger that causes you to just eat everything in sight, healthy or not, because it tastes so delicious and you're so deprived and you end up gaining the weight back. So here are the two ways I find you can use diet breaks most effectively to lose more fat depending on who you are. In case number one, you are a guy who wants to get leaner than you've been. Maybe you kind of played around with the gym before, you've built some muscle, you've just got a little bit of extra belly fat, and maybe you want to get ab lean for the first time in your life. But no matter what you do, you just can't get there. You keep pushing and then, fuck, something comes up. You just never really see actual real life shreds and veins the way you want to. Well, that's probably because you're just trying to lose all the weight in one shot and do this big mega diet. That diet fatigue creeps up way too high, and then you fall off the wagon and give up. So instead of doing that, you could break the diet up into a couple chunks, maybe a 6-week or 8-week fat loss push, where you nail your calories, you're in a 500 or 700 calorie deficit for 5 weeks, 6 weeks, 7 weeks, 8 weeks in a row. And then maybe for 4 weeks, we just bump the calories back up. So you're eating 2,500 calories again, 3,000 calories again, whatever your maintenance levels are. And over the course of 2, 3, 4 weeks, those hunger levels diminish, your calorie deficit side effects start to wear off, you start sleeping better, having more energy, training better, you're just not as hungry, and then boom, we hit it with a second wave, 6 weeks, 7 weeks, 8 more weeks of fat loss, and you're able to actually go a bit further. It's like a jerry can on a road trip. You bring that with you and you're able to just go further and get leaner. Now, there's a second option here. For dudes with a lot of weight to lose, if you have 50 plus pounds to lose, it can be demoralizing to even think about getting started on that, right? Because that's probably gonna take you 6, 7 months, 8 months, maybe longer. If you don't have any help, you're doing things in a backwards way, you don't have any coaching support, you're probably gonna make some mistakes, and that's gonna take a long time. So for those guys, instead of just sitting there, procrastinating, being demoralized about how big of a mountain you need to climb, why don't we just break it up and go to base camp first? Instead of trying to climb Everest in a day, we just go to base camp. We say, all right, look, we're gonna do a fat loss push for 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 12 weeks, whatever it is. we take off a significant chunk of fat, 20 pounds, 25 pounds, whatever it ends up being. And then we're gonna take a little breather for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, whatever it ends up being, before we go into that next push. And mentally, it is so much easier to commit to 6 weeks, 7 weeks, 8 weeks of fat loss instead of 40 weeks of dieting nonstop, always in your deficit every single day, back to back, right? And this is doubly effective if you know you have a period of life coming up that's gonna be busier for you at work, maybe more stressful. You have a kid on the way, or you have a vacation or something. What are you gonna do? Try and vacation and lose fat at the same time? That's a great way to do a fucking horrible job at both those things. So just plan to do a fat loss push for the weeks leading up to it, and then we're gonna eat at maintenance while we're on vacation or during that really big work project season. And then again, we come back to it afterwards, we pick up and we make that next push. And if you want a simple calculator that can help you just basically spit out a 6-month plan for how much weight you should aim to lose, how long your break should be, then click the link in the description box. I put together a free little spreadsheet that'll help you calculate all this stuff nice and tidy, all in one place. And if you want to avoid those time-consuming weight loss mistakes I spoke about earlier, then check out this video next, where I compiled the 3 worst mistakes I see guys making all the time that ruin their fat loss progress, where I'll show you exactly what to do instead to make the process happen faster and smoother.